little icon, the magnifying glass, is going to pop up a bigger graphing area, and you have the options of normal, medium, or maximize, so you can make this as large as you need to. Now what they're wanting us to do is use our line tool, and I'm going to slide this back to medium so that it's out of the way so I can actually see the equation. And I know that my y-intercept will be at 0.4, so I'm going to plot that. And then I'm going to use my slope, the 8/7, so that means go up 8 and then over 7. Yep, up 8 and over 7. And then once you graph it, you need to click Save, and then that saves it here so you can actually check your answer. So again, make sure that once you graph it on the pop-out graph that you click Save. Another thing that you need to make note of is that if you get an answer, if you get a problem wrong 3 times, you can't try anymore, but you do get 3 attempts. So let's pick a different type of homework. I'm going to leave this page. So let's pick a different section. So let's pick another homework. Let's pick section 11.1. And whenever this pop-up comes up here, it's asking us to factor. So to demonstrate how you can get new problems, even if you miss it, let's say the factorization I think is n. Well, obviously that's not correct. But if you try 3 wrong answers, it'll finally mark it wrong, and then it lets you know that actually the answer is x onto x minus 2 and that you answered n. But if you click similar exercise down here in the bottom right, it's going to repopulate with another exercise. So the factorization is, and if we factor this right quick, and you can hit enter or you can come down and hit check answer. So we got that right. The little red X by the 1 now changes to a check mark. So you can go through and continue to do your homework or the homework problems until you get them all right, until you get 100% on your homework. Alright, so that's your homework. Your quizzes and your tests. This link is indeed for quizzes and tests. It's a similar idea as your homework where you click and you're going to have another pop-up. Only the difference is if you click I'm ready to start, you're not going to have any of the tools on the right side. So this is just asking you to answer the problem and put it in. This is a great way to see if you actually know the information, because oftentimes people become very dependent on the Help Me Solve This button, to where if you are using the Help Me Solve This button quite a bit or the View an Example button quite a bit, I suggest that you take notes on the parts you do not know. So whenever you do go through and take a online test or an in-person test, you feel confident about the information you actually know. The study plan, as I mentioned before, this is extra practice for you. This does not go into a grade for GTC students, but you can pick any chapter you'd like. So if you need to review something, maybe from chapter 2, maybe multiplication and division of fractions, then we can pick that, and here are all the problems that are associated with multiplication and division of fractions. And you can go through here and practice just to refresh yourself. The gradebook is pretty self-explanatory. Just by clicking here, it's going to show all of the homeworks that you have started, even if you have not finished them. And here you can see where I started a test and didn't finish it, so I have an incomplete. You can get to your ebook a couple of ways. You can get there if you go to chapter contents and click the little arrow. It'll rotate downward, and then you see all of your chapters available here. If you wanted to see something in chapter 4, perhaps section 3, so 4.3, you can watch a video presentation on this entire section. You can open up your textbook for this section, which this is a little bit different than whenever opening the textbook from your homework. Whenever you open the textbook from the left navigation link, you can actually put in any page you'd like here. So it doesn't have to stay within one section. So even though I opened up into section 4.3, I can navigate to any section that I'd like. And this one I'm actually in chapter 5. Section 1. And then also, if you want to work in the study plan on that section, there's a link here to get to the study plan so that you can practice. For tools for success, many of these are still being developed, such as the video lecture podcast. Those are coming soon, but there is an English-Spanish audio glossary to help with mathematical terms, and that is up and available. Also, there are other links such as algebra review cards. There's some interactive My Math Lab games and so forth, so on and so forth, as well as some graphing calculator help if you happen to have a graphing calculator. The Multimedia Library, it's another way to get to resources. So if Chapter 2 was the chapter I was having problems with and I wanted to look at everything for that chapter, I would leave it at all sections and then select all media types. And if I click Find Now, it's going to give me everything that it has. There is one video podcast here for this chapter. There are several videos. There's a video for every section. So for the section video lectures, here are those. There's PowerPoints for all sections. You can go directly to the section in your textbook. There's also animations showing different operations to do with fractions. And there is a chapter test prep video. So this is how you can find all of the resources for a particular chapter. And you again just use the drop down here to get to whichever chapter it is that you're concerned about, or whichever chapter and section you're concerned about. And you can select all resources or only the ones you're interested in. In discussions, this is where there could be discussion threads where people can post back and forth, and this acts like many other forums that are online, where there's usually a header thread and then people respond to each other underneath a particular topic. For course tools, if you click the little triangle to the side, it'll rotate and it tells you that there is email available. So I can choose to email different students in that course. I can choose to have a